Hello, everybody, and welcome. It's the crossover times NBL overtime times. What a hell of a weekend. A week, really, that all just goes into one. It's what this time of the year does, but as NBL hoops each and every day, it was the New Zealand Breakers who have had a real rough 2.5 years, but are right now a championship contender in this NBL season. And the Cairns Taipans, we did just see, continuing to make their push towards finishing in the top two. Cam Luke, Peter Hawley, Damon Lowry, boys. Decent weekend, decent day, as per in NBL 23.
Oh, it's really exciting. I mean, every game is so important. I'm honoured to sit here. Quick shout out to Liam's daughter's her birthday. Happy birthday, because I've replaced Liam on this fine day of hoops.
I see that. How you doing, mate?
Well, I thought she was going to sing happy birthday.
No, you heard me sing in the rehearsal.
I thought you were going to find out her name at least.
We're going to leave that one out. We're going to leave that one out.
Hey, we're going to get to what's all been happening. But let's start with our man DJ Hogg, because he was outstanding. And his Cairns Taipans team continue to roll. DJ, thanks for joining us. I want to ask you, what's it like playing in that stadium? We know when you get winning, when the Taipans traditionally get rolling like you are right now, the whole community gets behind them. I'm assuming it's no different.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's great. This is one of the best places to play and one of the best places I've been in. My teammates throwing towels. We're a fun group. But now the crowd's backing us, playing great, and loving it.
Hey, lots been made of it. Keanu Pinder, of course, having an MVP caliber season. He's out with injuries. But it must give you so much of confidence in the depth of this group. For Adam Ford to say, here you go, 9, 10, 11 deep, and continue to win games. That's 4 in a week.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We can't wait to get Keanu back, but we're going to hold it down until he does. He's a big piece for us, but we are a deep team, and we play well with or without him, but we will need him for playoffs.
Now, DJ, you mentioned that it's a fun place to play. It's a fun group. You've been around and you've played some nice places across your career. Have you ever been a part of a game style as fun as what Adam Ford has implemented with this young group? How fast you play? I don't think it's possible to actually take a bad shot, but is it the funnest place you played in?
Definitely. I love the way he just gives us freedom, lets us play, but at the same time wants us to play together. I would say we play on pace with the G League, but as far as coaching, Adam Ford, he's up there with the best.
DJ Damon, man, welcome down under, man. We both from the Midwest. You from Ohio, I'm from Michigan. How you liking the tropics? How's that humidity really treating you?
I was just born in Ohio. I'm really from Texas, but I was raised in Texas, so I'm used to this heat. I'm not used to all this rain, though. It's been raining for almost a month straight. So getting used to that and the mosquitoes.
Hey, big win today. And, of course, look, it's always you've got to continue to pack wins away when there's a little bit of adversity and you're on a tough schedule. But there was different times today. You don't lose confidence. I spoke earlier about the depth, but the confidence that Adam Ford must instill on each and one of you continues to stay rock solid regardless of what the scoreboard says.
Yeah, definitely. And we just all trust in our work. I mean, we put in a lot of work, and we do it on a daily basis, and that's pretty much what he preaches. When our moment comes, just take it. And he's behind us all the way. Sometimes he even says he believes in us more than we do ourselves. But that's just when we miss shots.
You talk a little bit about the culture, and it's so fun to watch everybody enjoying themselves playing with one another. Adam Ford, he's a terrific players coach. Now, talk to me a little bit about some of the amazing wins you've had, none more so than that New Year's Eve game coming from behind. Now, does he allow you to go and enjoy yourself knowing you've got to be a little bit under control afterwards? Because that happened on New Year's Eve, and everyone's who's familiar with Cairns knows there's a couple of places that when you're trying to enjoy yourself that you can go and have a good time. Does he give you a good balance of locking in when you have to, knowing that you guys will do that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, basketball is a game of runs, so just staying with it. And it's funny because he was saying he was close to pulling us out the game. But luckily we made a run there late, and so he kept us out there, and we just stuck with it. And shots started falling. We're getting stops. And when you do that, you can go on 16-0 runs, 20-0 runs, and the crowd gets going. It's great.
What Pete wanted to ask DJ was, did you go to Gilligan's on New Year's Eve, or did you give it a miss?
Oh, no. I went to bed. We had LOR on Monday, so.
Hey, we love what you do. We're loving what you do. We're loving what the team does. It's a team that continues to build momentum, mate. Enjoy the dub. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
Big day, big win, of course. Got down a little bit. Southeast Melbourne, Phoenix got their own injury concerns. But today is a huge day because New Zealand get the dub, which we'll talk about in a minute. But then Cairns back it up because we talk about the wild card and making the playoffs and all the rest of it. To finish second rather than third is a major advantage. A major advantage if you want to have a chance to win this championship.
Well, we talk about it. There's those two different kind of races going on. The race to get to 5th and 6th or even have a chance to win a title, and then the race to finish second. I think we can all put Sydney, they're going to finish top 2, should finish first. But that game next Sunday, New Zealand versus Cairns, that is going to go a long way to deciding which of those two teams. You'd think it's just one of those two right now are going to fight it out, because you don't want to be in a play-in game necessarily, but you also don't want to be in a once-off elimination game against the Cairns Taipans, because if they do what they did tonight, it's hard to win.
Cairns and New Zealand have already proven they can go on the road and win. So it don't matter. Yes, they would like to finish top 2, and they're going to play their butts off to try to get that spot. But if whoever comes third, they get a home game. And if they have to go on the road after that, they are comfortable. I don't even think they pay attention to the scoreboard. Cairns, they get down and say, whatever. We know what we can do.
It feels a little bit like that, and we spoke about the community and everyone. Like, it's a great place to watch basketball, and look, I guess not just Australians, but sports fans right around the world. You jump on bandwagons. Like, when things are going well, the whole thing starts to get really exciting. That Cairns bandwagon, and we look back a couple of years ago now when they made that semi-final, Machado and Cam Oliver doing what they do. You didn't want to go there.
No.
It was a fun place to play basketball if you were Cairns Taipans, and to go there as a fan, and that's what they're being able to do. The big thing will be, I think New Zealand and Cairns are going to finish second and third, or whatever it might be. New Zealand, it's a long way from New Zealand to Cairns, and that could be the big thing. A game 3 in a semi-final, you have one home court advantage. They can both win on the road, not arguing on that, but you would like to be able to sleep in your own bed the night before a big one like that.
They're two different complete game styles as well. You've got the physicality, and New Zealand breakers slow it right down compared to Cairns, who want to run and gun. And you're right, it's a fun place. They've recreated the style they got to the semi-final series, which is a lot of Adam Ford, which he needs to be locked away for as long as possible, because that is the Cairns Taipans right now. Adam Ford has created that culture, and he's terrific.
I feel like I could play center for the Cairns Taipans.
You know what? And we believe you could as well.
I saw Tajir McCall the other day. Like, he just started setting ball screens everywhere, just random acts of offensive violence. That's what this team does. They spread you out. One guy comes over here. There's mismatches all across the board. He's put a team together that is designed to shoot 40, 50 threes, and all they need is 5 minutes to get hot. They can blow the game open.
Quick one. Adelaide, New Zealand. Adelaide had their chance. It's a game. They dropped from 4th to 6th. That's how tight it is. What'd you make of it?
I thought Adelaide played well considering. I think they're making some strides, because I was a critic of their offense. I'm a critic of it because I think they stand around too much. I think they focus on ISO basketball a little bit too much. But they got more movement today, and even in the previous game. And I thought when Ian Clark, when Isaiah Leafa went flying by, I thought he had that shot. I thought he was going to win that game. They did enough to make me think they could make some noise in the playoffs, but I still got a couple of doubts. Defensively, they seem to give up way too much. Easy type stuff, too. So Cleveland, their best defensive player by a mile, in my opinion. After that, I'm scratching my head.
Defensively, they've got to obviously sharpen up if they want to contend for a title, but I think CJ Bruton just got to start to really bring the rotation back a little bit. You can play Antonius Cleveland as a power forward in the NBL. He's strong enough, he's athletic enough, and there's no one other than Jarrell Brantley probably who's going to beat him up physically. And that way you shorten the rotation, and Ian Clark needs to be playing 30 minutes a game. We're at the point now, if he's got his legs underneath him, he's not going to be a 20-minute guy.
What a weekend. Sydney get the job done as well. We'll get to Perth very shortly, and Melbourne United are starting to steamroll, but again, injuries are hurting. A very quick break, all thanks to Sportsbet. Check this out.
Welcome to At The Line. My name is Simon Legg, and we're here to talk about the NBA after a couple of weeks of being off. And as I look to my left, Felix von Hoff. No, Josh Jenkins.
Here, mate.
It's great to have you.
Well, Josh Jenkins has been thrown out unceremoniously from the building because he was hating on Donovan Mitchell. And you know what, Josh? Donovan Mitchell, while you were too busy hating, while you're in your car trying to get your phone rates down, he was off scoring 71 points for the Cavs. So who's winning now?
Now, I just need to calm you down because we're not talking about the Cavs yet. As I said before, we've been away for a couple of weeks. We want to talk about some of the storylines and some of the futures markets. Yeah. And the first storyline is the Brooklyn Nets, because Josh and I have sat here and we've said, how are the Brooklyn Nets still even in the top half of the championship market? They won 12 in a row. They've had their winningest month in history under Jacques Vaughn. Kyrie Irving may have even bought in, and all of a sudden they're flying.
Well, I think the major catalyst for that is that Kyrie Irving, the most mentally stable player in the league, has bought in. And he appears to be enjoying the guys that he's playing with. He's having fun, and I love to see it. I've got nothing against Kyrie Irving. I disagree with a few things that he's done in the past, but I love to see him playing well. And you know what? I've roasted the Brooklyn Nets before, but they're fun to watch at the moment.
They are fun to watch. They're a lot more cohesive, and they've managed to jump into third in the East. And they're also $8 for the championship, which to me is a massive shock considering we were looking down when they were right at the bottom of the standings and we couldn't even write their own ticket. But moving on, because you sort of buried...
I want to talk about the Cavs.
Yeah, you want to talk about the Cavs. You wrote that down. Now, Josh Jenkins has sat here and said that Donovan Mitchell cannot lead a team to a championship. And then he dropped 71 and 10 or whatever it was. Huge game.
You know what? Josh Jenkins said that he can't lead this team to a championship. And that may very well still be correct. But you know what, Josh? He's gone out for 71 points and he's trying his damn hardest. So we've got to give him credit.
I have to ask you a question because it's in front of me. Are they a smoky chance at a championship?
Whoever wrote that the Cavs are a smoky chance has been on a little bit too much of the smoky themselves. No, they're not a smoky chance for the championship, which in turn means that I've just roasted Josh Jenkins for an opinion that I actually agree with.
Yes, exactly. But you'll do that anyway because that's how you operate. Now, moving on to the futures markets, we want to talk about the MVP because at the moment, or actually it's been like this the whole season, it's been so competitive at the top. Obviously, we've got Luka Doncic, we've got Jason Tatum. And as the market comes up now, who do you like in this market? Because there is so much value.
It's tough. Look, you've got Luka, Giannis, and Jason Tatum right now, absolutely playing out of their minds. But the one person that we forget about is Joel Embiid. The guy was leading the scoring in the NBA. I had no idea. I had to look at it. Maybe that says something to my research. But Joel Embiid at $12, a pretty ridiculous price. I think recency bias right now. Luka's having an unbelievable stretch. So we've got to give credit to that. But I think Embiid's just putting a very, very, very nice case towards, finished runners-up the last 2 years, I believe. I reckon he's in for it. $12 should be pretty good.
Well, here's Felix's pick. And if you want to follow Felix in, please make sure you do so responsibly.
You know the score. Stay in control. Gamble responsibly.
Welcome back. It is the crossover, NBL overtime, and that man Xavier Cooks went to work. 24 points, 11 boards. The conversation about the MVP has only done one thing to Xavier Cooks, and that's fire him up to continue to lead the defending champions to big win after big win, and last night was no different. 11,500 packed to join out. This is how we ended. I thought Pete was going to have a conniption on air describing that. He was huge. They stand atop the ladder, a game and a half clear of the Breakers. The Taipans, both those teams win today. The JackJumpers, the 36ers, Phoenix and Wildcats are in that wild card fight. And here come Melbourne United. Big win against Tasmania last night, but Isaac Humphries, of course, the knee. Have they left it too late, Pete Hawley? I want to put this on the record. Had they have beaten Perth, when they led by 8 in the last minute, they would right now sit in 6th spot.
Yeah, I'm worried that loss is going to come back to bite them. I haven't left them too late because a lot of teams are faltering around them, which definitely helps. But Marcus Lee was enormous. Isaac Humphries, if he misses a little bit more time, maybe Dave Barlow too with that pretty bad concussion. Marcus Lee was outstanding, but they still need another presence to help him. You don't expect him to be able to, his cardio-wise, to do 35 minutes a game.
Well, they are coming home with the wettest of sails, the United, and good on them the way they playing. It's efficient, desperate basketball, and if they had to play like this early in the season, midway through the season, who knows how high they'd be up the ladder. But they got 4-away games. They got Adelaide twice, and they got to go New Zealand twice. Now, let's just say they win one of those each and win that last home game. That's 3 more wins from now. I think they're going to fall a little short. They literally have to run the table.
Shea Ely, Marcus Lee, guys who weren't there earlier in the year well, Marcus Lee wasn't even in the team, but Shea Ely with injury. They're a top 4 team playing-wise right now. But, hey, you've got to play the whole season out. That's why they start the season and play 28 games. Perth, interestingly, have been disappointing, although, as John really said, we've played the best 2 teams the last 2 games and they've fallen a fair way short. So Webster started last night. Scoring shouldn't be an issue, but defense is still a major one.
Defense is a major issue. Rebounding is a major issue. Consistency is a super-duper major issue. You don't know what you're going to get from Brady Manning game to game. You just don't know. And he is in that import position is vital to the team. You just can't be up and down when you're the import. So I know what I'm going to get in the backcourt. Backcourt's fine. But can they get enough stops? And can they rebound well enough to win?
The defence is an interesting one because for me, it comes down to having trust. And the elite defensive teams in the competition, New Zealand, Tasmania and Sydney, they trust one another. And what I tried to highlight during the game at halftime was you've got Xavier Cooks on an island. That is scary for anybody in the league. And you've got to load up behind him and really try and protect whoever was guarding, which was Deshaun Thomas. But everyone was focused on their own man. It was almost like, I don't want DJ Vasiljevic to go for 42, so I'm staying attached to him, which is fair enough. But Xavier Cooks is the one with the ball. You've got to take a couple of steps off. A lot of coaches call it a selfish mindset on defence. I don't think anyone's doing it selfishly. It's just the team defence which worries me.
But the concern is you broke it down so well last night at half-time, you could have put another 25 in. That's not, you just didn't find 3 or 4 isolated incidents. That's actually how they play defence. I might actually I know they want to play defence, or John really wants them to play. But by bringing Ty Webster in, they're just like, we're taking a swing to outscore everybody else. Defensively, we don't think we can get to the level we need to. We're just going to take a swing and hope that and we just get hot at the right time of the year. It's an interesting one because they missed it last year. The pressure starts to mount. They're in that dogfight. It's what makes the NBL and the wildcard situation so great as we head into the last month of NBL 23. Tassie.
The Jackies.
Talk to me, Damon.
That was a tough loss that the Jackies had, but I still trust them. Their style of play. Look, the United was just switched on, and it took everything United had to beat the Jackies. But the Jackies have proven they can go on the road and win. They have a style that travels. Cairns has a style that travels. So Tassie, Scott Roth has 13 options that he could put out there. Any combination of those 13 seem to work because they all play defense the right way. They all move the ball the right way, and they got a big shot, big-time maker in Milton Doyle. So if the game gets tight, Milton Doyle can pull one out.
I'm not writing Tassie off because the moment you write them off, they seem to just absolutely fly through. They'll go on a winning streak. They want everybody to write them off. The thing for me is, we talk about CJ Bruton having some tough decisions to make. Scott Roth's about to have the same thing. So Matt Kenyon and Sam McDaniel, they're back in the lineup after missing a whole chunk of time. That's their elite perimeter defenders. They don't ever play at the same time. It's one or the other. Last night, Chris Golden goes off. Normally, one of them is literally living in his pocket, and they've done a good job in the course of history against Tassie. You let him get off, and he broke the game open, which he does. Where do they fit into this? Because you can't take minutes away from Sean McDonald. He's earned his minutes right now. Clint Steindl's still trying to get back after missing a whole chunk of time. So a lot of these guys are trying to figure out where they fit in the crunch time. It's an interesting one.
You're right. I can't write Tassie off. I just can't write them on. And I'm being legit.
You're right.
Like they'll come out in that game against Sydney. Really, in the last month, their best game was against Sydney. Right? And it was one quarter. They got belted for 3 quarters, and that was maybe more about Sydney and their fourth quarter issues at the time than it is about Tasmania. So every time I dive back in, I'm like, oh, they're going to make a run. They stink it up again. And last night, that second half, I know CG does what he did, but they didn't really look like being able to muster up in front of a big crowd to win it. I don't know which way to take it. They're 11-10. They're a 50% team.
It was the third time. That was their third game against United.
Yeah.
It's hard to beat a team 3 times in a row.
Would have been 5 times in a row.
Yeah.
Well, it would have been. You know what I mean?
At
some point, you got to figure United going to get them. You know what I mean? So
you can write them on, though, because if it gets to a one-off, if they finish 5th or 6th, you 100% can back them to go back against the wall against any other, wherever they're going on the road, and just grind it out and get the job done.
I know, but if they finish 5th or 6th, they've got to win another elimination game to then go on the road.
And who else would rather do it than the JackJumpers? That's exactly what they want. They want to finish 6th and then win the title.
I'm sure Scott Roth was like, let's finish 6th and go elimination all the way through.
Hey, that's how they like it.
They did like it last year. We're going to get to a break. Wherever you might be, make sure you get involved at NBL via all our socials. Damon Lowry, Peter Hooley, Cam Luke, plenty more next. Welcome back, wherever you might be. Sunday Hoops was the Breakers in Adelaide. Get the dub late. Ian Clark had a chance, but New Zealand continued to do what they do. They stay second. Cairns beat the South East Melbourne Phoenix. We've got a few injury concerns, and Mitch Creek got poked in the eye late. So shout out to Mitch Creek. Hope he's okay. For 1, his health, and 2, so Phoenix don't lose another one of their stars. Now, we're going to talk Brisbane, right? And I don't want to show disrespect, because this is a situation that now starts to become interesting to talk. This season's done, right? But what happens into the off-season? There's a little bit of growing support for Pero Cameron to be the head coach. He's obviously there on the bench right now. Sobey and Baines are their only 2 players, I believe, that are under contract. What do you do? I'll start with you, Damon. What do you do? What do the Brisbane Bullets do from their head coach, in fact, from the CEO, all the way down to the 12th man? How do you approach this last month?
CEO, you got to spend money. The owners got to spend money first. Now, you got to go and get not Pero Cameron. All the respect in the world for Pero Cameron. He can't coach this team. You know why? Because he's Greg's assistant coach. What are you going to do? Take that assistant and let him leapfrog the head coach? The interim? It won't work. Now, I will keep him on the staff, though. So I'm going to go and get a coach like Trevor Gleeson or Brendan Joyce, somebody, I don't know, find the next Chase Buford. Somebody's got to come in here who don't take no don't take, and just grab these dudes, say, listen here.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Appreciate
A strong authority figure, that's one, and then you got to get the 3 imports right.
I was saying thank you for not swearing.
Yeah, I just had to check the time.
I love the passion.
I actually think Pero Cameron is the man you can probably look at. I'm sure they'll look at everybody else first and see what kind of suits, but he's a man he's not going to take any of that nonsense, and I think he's the perfect choice. I think there could be others out there, but no matter what happens, you talk about the team makeup, it's got to start from that. You've got to pick a head coach first and then build a team around that. And in terms of other off-season signings, Gorjok Gak has to be signed for a multi-year deal. If you talk about someone who's actually shone through all the adversity, taken advantages, he's been phenomenal. I love him. And you also, right now, with the end of the season, you're not playing for a whole lot besides for your fans. Got to start him. Got to play him 30-plus minutes a game. Let him get that extra bit of improvement towards the business end. But I wouldn't mind seeing Pero Cameron get that. And I mean, it's like that. Judd Flavel's name's been thrown around there as well. But I think he'd be one of those guys who he wouldn't take any nonsense, and that's what they need. And I think it's all about spending money. I think I spent a little bit of coin this year too.
That's the thing, right? And 2 of those guys are in the Boomers. If I was another team in the NBL, I'd be knocking on the door and just asking Baines and Sobey if they wanted to be part of their team next year. Got to find a way. The joint's shambolic from the outside looking in. And I'm not talking on court, I'm talking off court and where it all sort of sits. And it's led by that coaching search and in and out and all the rest of it. I'd be asking their 2 best players, Aaron Baines and Nathan Sobey, if there's a way that they wouldn't want to be a part of the Bullets next year. If I was another team, I'd be asking that question. Now, they will probably both say, no, we want to stay in Brisbane. Well, within both of those guys' rights, but I'd be asking that question if I was another NBL team. Good job by you today.
Thank you very much.
Big day. Damon, as always, on fire.
Good stuff, man.
Tuesday night, double header. Can't wait. Until then, stay hooping.